There is a thing, a mysterious thing, something we all need and want, something different, evasive, something mysterious. The most important thing that we can need in our lives. The golden mean, yin-yang, lagom, mindfulness, the middle way, humbleness, modesty. They're all different words from different languages and cultures from all around the world used to describe one thing, one ideal, one universally accepted concept: balance. Yes, balance. The median between two extremes, defined in the dictionary as the state in which two or more different elements are in correct proportion or equal to each other. There's another word for balance. Actually, two words. Golden mean. An ancient Greek philosophy, a way of life. Back then, it was an ideal. It was how everyone did their things. A 6th century BCE, 2,600-year-old concept that still baffles minds today. It's comprised of 3 simple concepts: beauty, proportion, and truth. I'll start with the first, beauty. Beauty is a simple construct. Whenever they did their things back then, they did it with beauty. They made sure that whatever they did, they achieved it properly. And then it looked beautiful. And that they put their best into achieving whatever they wanted to achieve. They made sure that it turned out perfect. And then not only did it look good in their eyes, but it looked good in the eyes of others. And they really prized perfection over everything else. That's beauty. Doing something to the best of your ability. Then there's proportion. Proportion is a number, a ratio, 2 different things that have the right balance between each other. Proportion is when you have 2 different tasks, 2 different challenges that you're trying to solve, that you find the right balance between the 2, and that you make sure that whatever you're doing, that you have the right amounts of one thing over another. You might have heard the phrase, courage is a virtue, but you might not have heard the rest of the phrase. Courage is a virtue, but if used in excess, it could turn to recklessness. And if in deficiency, it could become cowardice. A coward could be someone who runs away at the sight of danger, who runs away from battle, a warrior fleeing from the battlefield. On the other hand, recklessness could be a warrior who's filled with courage, filled to the brim, and he charges at 50 enemy soldiers blindly. That's recklessness, taking on way more than you can handle. That's proportion. And finally, we have truth, the final part of the golden mean. Whatever you did back then, whatever you did 2,600 years ago, you made sure you did it with truth. Truth was making sure that whatever you did it for the right reasons, and that you were honest with yourself. And that if you decided that you were going to achieve something, and you decided that you were going to do something, that you did it for the right reasons, and that you did it honestly, and that you didn't fool yourself into thinking otherwise. That's truth. That is the golden mean. Three simple things: beauty, proportion, and truth. Now, remember these, because this is very important to the rest of my speech. I'd like to introduce to you a new version, a modified version, a modern iteration of the golden mean, something that we can all relate to. Our lives nowadays are fast-paced and busy. We have tasks thrown at us and problems that just pop out of nowhere at any second of the day. We compartmentalize our lives into boxes and into different sections of time so we can cope with all the different tasks that we have to get done. But the problem with this is that life is actually more fluid. Things happen a lot of the time, and we can't stick to a rigid structure. So I propose something different, a new golden mean, something that we can all relate to. So, whenever you are stressed, whenever you have a problem, whenever there's something that you need to get done, whenever you're overwhelmed, whenever you're angry or overexcited, just stop. Just stop. That's it. Stop whatever you're doing, because you need to take a break. You need to release yourself from the moment. You need to remove yourself emotionally so you can actually see what's going on. Because sometimes, in the moment of things, we do things that we might regret later. So the best thing, whenever we're in a stressful situation, is to just stop. Unlike Nike's slogan, where they say, just do it, I say, just don't do it. You need to do the opposite of whatever you were going to do. And when you've taken a break, when you've separated yourself from the situation that you're currently in, what you have to do is assess. You need to be able to figure out what's actually going on. Because half the time, whenever you're angry, whenever you're overexcited or mad, or whenever you're stressed with so much that you need to get done, we usually freak out. And we do things that we might regret later on. And the best thing to do is to actually figure out what's happening. Because sometimes we don't even know ourselves. You need to pinpoint exactly what's going on in the situation right now, so you can diffuse it or so you can change it. And once you've pinpointed every single thing that's going on in that moment, right there and then, you need to prioritize. Prioritization is the final and the most important step when it comes to finding balance in life. When you have a lot of different things, and you have that long list of all the different things that you need to get done, and all the possibilities that can happen in that situation, you need to figure out what's the most important thing. You might have 15 to 30 different items that you need to do and different things on your checklist that you need to check every single second. But what you need to do is to take that list and you want to filter it down to just 7 most important things. Those things are the most vital things to you in that moment. If you died 2 hours later, you would be content only achieving just those 7 things because they are important to you. Now, I have a challenge for you and for myself. When you filter down that list just to 7, I want you to filter that list down to 1. Just 1 most important thing that you need to get done. Okay, let's say 2, just to be a bit generous. When you filter down to 1 thing, you focus on only that thing, and that's all you think about. You get rid of all the unnecessary clutter. Remove all the extra stuff. All the favors and all the challenges that you took on personally, you've gotten rid of all of that. And you don't have to worry about anything. Your mind, is ready. Your mind is focused. It's primed. Your mind is like an arrow, aiming at a target, going straight, just going straight, only focusing on one thing at a time. You don't have to worry about anything else because you've gotten rid of that. You just focus on that one important thing because you've prioritized. I mean, I've personally never seen an arrow going straight in one direction at high speed to hit 30 different targets. It seems a bit impossible. It's like a spike of ice. It's straight, it's pointed, it goes all the way up like this. And then you have a puddle of water. Which one would be more stable? The spire of ice, this spike, will be able to support more weight because it's strong, it's rigid, it's pointed. It's only focused on one thing. While that puddle on the other side is flat. It's spread out way too thin. It has not enough surface area to actually support the many things that you're going to do. And you're not going to be able to achieve that much. Think of the significant height difference between the two. It makes a big difference. That's the golden mean. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Whenever you're stressed, whenever you're in a situation that's just bogging you down, you need to stop, to figure out what's going on, and to take a break, to assess so you know what's actually happening, and you can pinpoint the different things that you can do to solve that problem, and to prioritize, to focus down on only one or two things that you need to get done. And that's how you do your life. That is what balance really is. That's what it means to have balance. And that's what the golden mean is all about. But when you practice the golden mean, you need to make sure that you don't forget the 2,600-year-old concept. Those three simple things I told you about earlier, don't forget beauty, proportion, and truth. Because whatever you do, you have to embed that into your life and into the way you do your things. And that is the most vital thing that can be very useful to you at any point in time. You need to be able to focus on only one thing and one thing at a time. And that really is what balance means. So never forget, whenever you're stressed, whenever you have a lot on your mind, whenever there's a lot for you to do, and whenever you are in a situation that you have no control over, just stop, assess, and prioritize. Thank you.